Fesmedia Africa will be hosting a regional conference on information and communication rights in Africa. Now, the event will see delegates from all over the world come together to discuss topical issues pertaining to information and communication rights on the continent. The event is slated for May the 31st until the 2nd of June at the Country Club. We have invited to pretty much talk to us this morning, that is Mr. Dickson Kasote, who's the program manager that is Fesmedia Africa. A very good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Nicole, and good morning to viewers.
Right, sir. I think it's only fair for us, to start with as much as possible, as much information as possible. Why don't you give us, some background on Fesmedia and help make us understand a few things if we start there.
Thank you. Fesmedia Africa traces its background or its roots from the 1970s, from the work that was being done by the Friedrich Ebert Stiftung in Africa, supporting media projects. And then in 1992, the project, regional project for Southern Africa was established in Harare, Zimbabwe, supported a number of media projects, including the establishment of Bush Radio in Cape Town. And then in 2002, we moved to Namibia in Windhoek, and we are here.
And we are here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the organization is working, towards a political and a legal regulatory framework for the media. Are there other aims and objectives that you can also please share with us as much as possible, please?
Yes, thank you. So our work really seeks to promote independent, strong, robust media environments, and of course, regulatory frameworks for access to information, freedom of expression, and the media in general. And we really seek to also strengthen digital spaces and digital rights and promote the role of media as the fourth estate in strengthening democracies. Yeah.
Speaking of that, digital rights, that's a very important one we have to touch on for those who might not fully understand it. And I'm really happy we bring in the professionals like you to sort of school us sometimes, know. But for those who don't fully understand what digital rights are, what does it consist of and why is it so important?
Yes, there are so many definitions. I think it's an evolving concept, but in general terms, digital rights are those rights that are exercised on digital platforms, on the internet or in the digital age. An extension really of the rights as expounded for or provided for by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And these include, the right to privacy, the freedom of expression, and really the promotion of these rights in digital spaces or on digital platforms, especially now that the world is more digitizing or becoming more and more digital.
Absolutely. So now I do know that the conference obviously also seeks to address some crucial issues.
Yes.
And I know that there are many as well. What are some of those issues?
Okay, the conference really looks at, we are looking at a broad range of issues. And remember, it's a 2.5-day conference. So we may not cover the entire spectrum of the issues we really wish to address pertaining to digital rights, access to information, freedom of expression, and the linkage of these rights to other human rights. But we are going to look at a broad range of issues, such as rethinking access to information in the digital age, strengthening the architecture for the right to privacy in Africa, internet universality, issues related to media futures and sustainability and viability of the media in Africa.
Well, considering that you did say that you might not be able to tackle, there's so many issues to address, obviously, but so little time. Does it mean we will look forward to a part 2 or so of the sort?
Yes, we really wish to have this as an introduction to a series of engagements. As the Friedrich Ebert Stiftung and as Fesmedia Africa, part of the Friedrich Ebert Stiftung, what we do, we promote these platforms where topical issues or very important issues of the day are discussed. So we hope that this will be just the beginning. And at the end of that conference, we are going to come up with, hopefully, a very powerful outcome statement that really lays out a roadmap that we should follow, not only as civil society organizations, but as well as governments. And we are going to host this conference with the Special Rapporteur on Freedom of Expression and Access to Information in the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, the ACHPR, which is a UN body, AU body. So this means that we have really a platform to continue engaging, also hoping that we'll be also drawing all stakeholders, including state parties, in these discussions, and hopefully we'll be able also to set such a platform for government officials, which are dedicated to government officials to interrogate these issues from government's perspective, as well as implementing some of the recommendations that are going to come out from this conference.
Fantastic. Now, I don't really want to jump the gun here, but earlier you mentioned a few topics. I know the right to privacy was one of them. Like, is there a glimpse that you can give us at this time?
Well, I think there are a lot of issues, or at least a lot of developments across Africa, really. And the debate is ongoing about issues relating to the right to privacy. There is a call for really to strengthen the right to privacy, but at the same time, also making sure that citizens are responsible citizens, even when they, claim or participate on digital spaces, as a way of in claiming that right to participate on digital spaces, but at the same time, they have to be responsible. So there are no, examples I could give now, but I think the debate is ongoing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fair
we'll
enough.
wait for the conference, of course, to really unpack most of these issues.
We wait for the conference, and then we will wait for the outcomes.
Yes.
Now, access to information in some parts of Africa, as we know, is not is a crisis. As some people don't have this access. Again, just touching and going back to the conference. What does the function of this conference in aiding the social issue, like the purpose?
Access to information is a very important right. It is a facilitative right for citizens to be able to exercise their other rights as enshrined in most of these very progressive constitutions in Africa, and also as laid out in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, and many other international instruments, as well as national constitutions. So this conference really seeks to raise that awareness among citizens of Africa that access to information is important, and we know that only 26 African countries have enacted access to information or freedom of information laws. So this really is an opportunity for citizens to really get that awareness and start calling for the adoption or enactment of progressive access to information laws. Even the countries that have these laws, implementation is quite a challenge until today. Yep. So hopefully we'll be able to raise that awareness so that there is this movement and call to implement. Most of these laws are very good, but it's only implementation that's lacking. So we hope that citizens will be able to, and of course with governments alike, they will be able to really implement these laws. But of course, most importantly, for those that don't have the laws, to enact laws.
I think it's it's funny how for once it's not funds that's an issue that you're mentioning. What I mean, but implementation is something that you did mention. I feel like as people we're so reluctant or oblivious to certain things until it happens to us, and
That's
then
right.
we want to start acting on it. But how important is it that every African knows? How important it is to have information and to know their communication rights as well.
Yeah, I think an uninformed citizen is a citizen who don't participate meaningfully. So if everybody knows and understands their rights or this information and communication rights, they will be able to participate meaningfully in democratic processes, to contribute, to the socio-economic development of their communities, societies, and countries, and the African continent in general. So I think this conference really is a platform to ensure that citizens understand, the African citizens understand these rights, and they'll be able to, the rights and responsibilities, by the way, and they'll be able to, participate from an informed point of view in their democratic processes in their respective countries.
Earlier, I think in the overview, we did say we're expecting a few delegates to participate in the conference who from all over the world. So who are we looking forward to hosting?
Yeah, the conference target mainly, the primary target audience is access to information, advocates, journalists, media practitioners, human rights defenders, and those who are really actors in the digital rights and digital spaces. from across Africa, even though we are drawing some of our experts to share some lessons learned, from other parts of the world, but 99%, 98 to 99% of the participants are, from the African continent, or the experts that are coming are from the African continent. And in Namibia as well, we have, very powerhouses in terms of these issues who are going to be part of the conference, and it's by invitation only.
By invitation only. Okay, that's a very good point to make right now.
Yeah.
I think also, we can't speak about some of the, strides without speaking of challenges and vice versa,
That's
But
right.
as a whole, sir, what would you say are some of the strides we've made on the continent?
Yeah.
If we talk about, digital rights alone, for example.
Yeah, I think the African continent has been making a lot of important strides, or there's been very encouraging developments. There is political will in many, many countries to really promote these rights by way of enacting laws that promote these rights, policies, and ensuring that this is implemented. We have governments committing to promote these rights because they have come to a realization that these rights, digital rights, are human rights. So if we want to be, a good government, promote democracy, we need to promote digital rights by also providing the infrastructure, hard and soft infrastructure for citizens to participate. For instance, universal access to internet. Many governments are striving for that, but still we still have a long way to go. There are many areas that still need to be strengthened. A lot needs to be done, and this is why this conference is put together to really interrogate some of these areas where we are lacking and where we've made progress, so that we can appreciate what we've done, but also find and forge a collective pathway to promote these rights, digital rights in Africa.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, Mr. Kasote, we did say it was a 2-day conference. Just give us some details on when and where.
Thank you. It's a 2.5 days conference, starting on the 31st of May to the 2nd of June at the Windhoek Country Club here in Windhoek. And there is going to be, it's a hybrid conference. There's the larger part of it, I would say, because we really wish to reach an African audience. So it will be live streamed on our social media platforms, including the FES Global YouTube channel. Let me share some of the handles.
Please.
Yes, so we will be live streaming on our Facebook page, which is Fesmedia.Africa. And of course, links to that will be found on our Twitter page, on our Twitter platform, as well as we'll be running a live blog or a newsletter on our conference website, www.FirstMediaRegionalConference2023.com. Quite a long name, but you can easily reach this site through our simple website, Fesmedia-Africa.de. There you will be linked to the conference website and, of course, our social media platforms. And we are also partnering with organizations such as UNESCO, the Namibia Media Trust, on whose website and also social media platforms that there will be links to the live streaming. We also be running a podcast live on the conference where some snippets of the outcomes of the different sessions will be shared. Experts will be interviewed. So that podcast will be also available on the social on our conference website. So we are really hoping that we reach an African audience so that we can also have input from participants who are not on site or who are not here physically, but they can, give input on social media platforms and, really be able to contribute to the discussions. And it will be there will be interpretation and translation into French and Portuguese as well, because it's regional. So we really hope to reach a wider audience.
All right, very well, sir.
Yeah.
Are those your final marks, or would you like to leave us with another note?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think really to say, I think this is a very opportune time for every Namibian, every African to really participate in such an important discussion, important conference. So we really invite all those who have, heard word about it or who have seen on our social media platforms to really follow the conference proceedings on our social media and on live streaming platforms. And we are so much geared and excited about the conference. Yeah.
So it was so nice to have you. All the best with the conference preparations, outcomes, everything. We really hope for success for your
Thank you
conference.
so much.
All right.
Thank you.
There you have it in studio here this morning with us is the program manager, Dickson Kasote from Fesmedia Africa, talking to us about their conference, that the regional conference on information and communication rights in Africa that will be hosted, that is on May the 31st, will run through until the 2nd of June at the Windhoek Country Club. Unfortunately, it is only by invitation. Okay, we're talking about being in attendance. However, they are hoping to reach a wider African audience. So hopefully you can come through on the social media platforms. They'll be live streaming it as well. They'll have a live blog, as you just heard. So in many ways, you can actually be a part of this conference as well. So what you have to do now is check out their website or their social media pages and spread the word. We'll be back after a very short break. Don't go. So we'll be back.